Hi, this is Radiance Thompson here, and we're doing day 4 of the Fearless Challenge. And today I'm fearlessly declaring what my superpower is. Now, some of my clients may tell you that my superpower is being able to shift your perspective. So you can see that you have a light and a power that yields so much light and is able to give and give and give because that's what you're here for, to serve your gifts to others. And some of my clients may see that my superpower is my ability to be intuitive. And it is, some of those things are absolutely my gifts. I've been able to see parts of my clients' past and see how those parts of their past are holding them back from becoming their best and highest selves. I've been able to uncover certain thoughts that are holding you back from walking and breathing in your present, number one, and also in your truth without spiritual bypassing. And going a little bit more into that, when you start to unlearn social dogma and start to reframe your fears, so instead of becoming your fears being your biggest liabilities, they become your biggest assets. I've been able to help my clients with that. However, as much as I would love to say that those are my superpowers, and also in my ability not to judge my clients for the things that they've gone through in their past and my empathy, um, I would love to say that those are part of my superpower. However, that's not my biggest superpower. My biggest superpower is my innate wisdom and in my ability to see that through unifying all things and bridging the gap between science, spirituality, and religion, you can create a system of healing and unity consciousness that enables you to know that through combining all things, you can be capable of all things. So it is my core belief and superpower that by creating a unison between religion, spirituality, and energy healing and spirituality, that you can ultimately become unified within self and become whole. So my superpower is my innate wisdom. Now, while I may appear young, most of my clients are actually in their 40s. My experience, cultivated through some harsh life experiences, experienced early on in my life, have given me the capability and wherewithal to connect and support clients that may feel like they're more seasoned than me in life, as far as physical years in this earth. So, by implementing my wisdom, I have cultivated a system that incorporates a unity consciousness once again, where I help my clients connect to the God source universe within them and outside of them simultaneously. We release harsh self judgment and we replace it with deep self compassion. Because as Danielle Laporte says, your darkness and your shadow, excuse me, and your light are all inclusive. Now, I believe that when you excuse me, when you change yourself, when you change how you feel about yourself by combining science, spirituality, and religion, you can start to create a new way of being, a new way of living. So when we work together, when you become one of my clients, you will consciously learn what you want and desire to allow in your brain, how you can consume from the environment in a way that serves you, and how to emotionally regulate yourself so you can tap into the intelligence of the heart mind. And when you do this, you become less reactive and more responsive with love. That's when you reclaim the wholeness that is already within you and fall in love with the imperfectly perfect, flawed human being that you are. Now, I'm going to give you some of the religious aspect of this. The Prophet Muhammad from Islam says that the greatest struggle is the struggle of self. Confucius says, better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. So, by combining the quote from Muhammad and Confucius, it can be said that your struggle with your flaws has made you beautifully whole. Now, why do you typically struggle with your flaws? And what I have seen from, myself and from clients is that one of the biggest struggles with your flaws is how those flaws were cultivated from painful experiences from the past and how those flaws have created harsh self-judgment, shame, guilt. Now, here's the science of how this all happens. The limbic center, which is the emotional center of the brain, holds something called the hippocampus. And this holds memories from painful past experiences. So damage to the limbic center from painful past experiences and the replay of those memories over and over again can create a lack of safety within yourself, causing you to develop shame and dissociation, depression, guilt. Now, over time, what happens is that this part of the brain starts to shrink, and your ability to emotionally regulate yourself becomes lessened. Now, because your limbic center is also linked to your subconscious or unconscious brain, this is also called your shadow or your perceived darkness. This controls your unconscious behaviors. So now, because those emotions are on repeat and you have a damaged emotional center, you're now replaying the same things in your life, the same scenarios over and over again. You have become emotionally hardwired and you are vibrating the same experiences from the past in your current reality. And this causes you to unconsciously scan your environment for evidence that reinforces those feelings of shame, guilt, harsh self-judgment that you received from that turbulent past experience. So what do? By unifying again concepts of religion, spirituality, and science, you can change the way that your brain consumes information. You can change the way the heart feels about that information. And by changing the brain and the heart, you can start to change your vibration. And when you change your vibration, you start to change the way you live. You start to see that, hey, I can create a life that feels good to live. I can walk in my truth. I can shine my light. I can own my gifts. So what I like to do is implement a top-down and bottom-up approach to healing. And but what I mean by top-down and bottom-up approach to healing is by using both top-down conscious brain first to bottom, which is your emotional brain last, and then incorporating as well a bottom-up approach where you engage your emotional brain first and conscious brain last. By doing both, now you're creating a full multidimensional method of healing. Often you will see, let's say in traditional therapy, that is where you incorporate your conscious brain first. If you would like an example of what that means. With spirituality and with energy healing, often your emotional brain is incorporated first, and then we talk about it afterward. What came up for you? What were some of the visions? What were some of the feelings that you had? So your emotional brain is incorporated first, and then your conscious brain is engaged afterward. And we'll talk about that more in the coming lives. Just wanted to give you a brief understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay, but overall, by using science and religion, you provide a top-down approach, incorporating your conscious brain first. That has to do with logic and reasoning. And then with healing, with energy healing, and also with spirituality and doing shadow work and things of that nature, you approach healing with a bottom-up perspective, incorporating the emotional brain first, and then the conscious brain last. And you need both methods of healing, because when you unify all things, you become capable of all things. So again, it's time to reprogram, recenter, and realign yourself to becoming the person that you have been looking for. Okay. It's time for you to become the person that Source, God, Universe sees as you. And you can do this through unity consciousness by unifying all things, again, to be capable of all things. So when you choose elevated thoughts, emotions, you also elevate your vibration, and you start to become the person that you have always wanted to become. So it's time for you to meet that person. It's time to heal. It's time to shine your light. And it's time to ground your vision into reality. It's time for you to step into your highest potential. And it's also time for you to know that when you have finally had your last days here, that you gave this lifetime your best shot. So reach out to work with me one-on-one if you have questions or would like info, say info in the comments. Thank you so much for watching Fearless Day 4. And tomorrow will be Fearless Day 5. This is Radiance Thompson, spiritual mentor and intuitive energy healer, signing off.